Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be looking at a Dinky Toys 169 Golden Hawk, which was made sometime between 1959 and 1963, I believe. So as you can see, this is got the usual paint chipping. It's a bit rusty. And this car doesn't have an interior, so basically it's just glazing, a base plate, and nothing in between apart from the body shell, if you know what I mean. Now I think the tyres are quite rough on this, but we are going to try and remove them with hot water. But spoiler alert, it's not going to be entirely successful. I think unfortunately these are going to be too far gone, but what we'll do is we will stick them in boiling water, get nice and soft, and see if we can get them off. Now it's a nice looking car, the Golden Hawk, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a custom restoration of this. We're not going to go back to the green and cream. We're going to go and do a black and gold paint scheme based on a real car that I've seen on the internet, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. And you can see it's a very nice car. So we'll have a go at replicating that car's paint job, which is basically a black body, gold wing details and gold roof with everything else in chrome or silver, and I think you'll quite like it. Okay, so first off what we'll do is use our flattened drill bit, and we're going to drill off those rivet heads, and there's only two on this car, and we'll get the base plate off. Now as the rivets are very pointy and the drill bit will just slip off them, I'm just using a file to file the tops of the rivets flat a little bit so the drill can get started on without slipping, and not do any more damage than we really would like to do, if you know what I mean. Now if you hear any knocks and bangs in the background, it's not me kicking things over. What it is, I have a log burner, and as it warms up and cools down it makes quite a bit of noise. Okay, so we've drilled off the rivets, and we can now remove the base plate of the car. Okay, so you can see there's no interior with the car at all. It's just the glazing and its base plate. It's a little bit rusty, but we can clean that up with the wire wheel. So as you can see, Golden Hawk is actually marked on the casting along with a 0. I'm not sure if that's important. And when I drill these posts through, they're actually hollow, which is quite a common thing with these older Dinkies. The posts are often hollow, so actually once you get through the top of them they're quite easy to drill. Now as you can see there's a rivet to remove for the glazing, and although the glazing has yellowed slightly, the plastic has yellowed internally, we can recycle that glazing. So we'll just drill away the rivet that's holding it in place, and we can get that glazing out. Now the glazing comes out in one piece, and apart from the crack from its original being riveted into the car, it's actually okay. It's just, as I say, it's just slightly yellowed with age, but it's still pretty usable. And you can sort of see that it has got Golden Hawk, written in the top of the plastic. Okay, so we're using some hot water to soften up those tyres and get them off. You might notice that I think two of the tyres match and the other two don't. So they may have come off other cars in the past. So we're just pulling them off, having softened them up first, but as you'll see, the rubber on these has gone quite bad on a couple of the tyres. So a little bit of force is going to be used, unfortunately. Because I think one of them cracks, and I think one of them actually breaks, even though it's been softened up, it just stays completely rock hard. This is very hot water. So even using the heat, the tyres basically broke, and it's all out of shape anyway. But this last one, I think I end up having to just brute force the thing off, and I think it does break. Like, I find it a bit hard to put a bit of force on something when I'm working around the camera, so I took this out of sight and just gave it a good squeeze, and it just broke. So there's like no rubbery content in those tyres anymore. Anyway, the tyres are off, and we can move on to the next stage of painting and cleaning. Okay, so we're using hot water and caustic soda to strip the car and the base plate and get the rust, because I think some of the rust does come off with caustic soda as well, and get that paint off, that green colour. It comes off pretty quick. Okay, so we should all be channeling our inner Kenneth Williams and shout "Frying Tonight" as the paint's coming off. And there you go, all nice and ready to be wire wheeled. Okay, so the paint's off, and what's left really on is just really dust. So we're just going to use our wire wheel, and we're going to give this a good brushing. Don't know why, this is always a very satisfying stage of any restoration. It's just getting back to bare metal and getting it all nice and shiny. Now I'll have to get some more wire wheels for the Parkside Dremel that I have, Parkside Dremel rip-off, as they do wear out quite quick, which is quite disappointing. So quite often they fly off and stick in my hand, which I didn't do it in this occasion, but there was another occasion I was cleaning something down and my hand was a bit like a porcupine after a while, with all these little bits of wire stuck in it. Very annoying. Okay, so the base plate was cleaned, the wheels and the base plate were cleaned up with the wire wheel as well, so they just had basically, just crud stuck to them, and they cleaned up very well. Okay, so a bit of disclosure, I've actually painted this car 3 times, and 2 out of the 3 times the paints reacted with one another. I was using a Revel paint and a car paint, and they shouldn't have reacted together because the one was allowed to dry and the other is just an acrylic paint, but it did. So I decided to strip it all off and do it all with Vallejo colours, which I know won't react with anything, and then I'll clear coat it afterwards. So here I'm using Vallejo black surface primer, and I'm just spraying the car all over in one colour, black, to start with. Now I'd masked the car to spray the roof and tail fins gold, but the camera ran out of memory whilst it was doing it and I didn't notice. Okay, so I'll just peel the tape off. The black surface is a bit marked, but that's not too bad because I'm going to clear coat it so it'll come up nice and gloss. Okay, so I've washed the clear part, and I'm just now going to fish it out of the floor polish, and it'll be all nice and shiny. Okay, so we're just going to start some detailing now, and I've invested in one of these chrome Molotow pens, and I must admit the jury's out as to whether or not I like them. I think I'd be better off getting the paint out of the pen and applying it, but using the marker, I've got other like marker pens that you can use to do this, and it's quite kludgy how it works. Although admittedly the chrome is shiny, but you've got to put it on and do it in one go, otherwise it dries so fast it actually goes matte if you then go back over it again. So in this car you would have had silvered headlights, radiator grille and the bumper, and the bumper's quite big. On the real car it's quite a lot of chrome, considering the size of the vehicle. Anyway, to do the rest of the details I'm going to use the Vallejo aluminium, which I'll dab out onto a piece of plastic, and then I'll apply that by hand to the various areas. Just feel slightly more comfortable using it. I'm sorry for some jumps in continuity, but I've had some problems with the camera. Software keeps seizing, and you think it's recording but it's not actually doing it. Okay, so at the back of the car we're going to paint the bumper chrome. There's a little bit of chrome to paint on the ends of the fins, and we'll paint in the tail lights. So here we're putting on replacement tyres, and we've got them warmed up in fairly hot water, and we're just going to squeeze those onto the cleaned up wheel hubs. And once that is done, and all 4 tyres are on, we can move on to the next stage. Okay, so here we are with some clear silicone sealant, which we're going to use as glue to stick the transparent parts into the roof of the car. This is the stuff that you use in your bathroom, for your tiles or your toilet or what have you. I'm just putting a dab on there. But I think I changed my mind doing this, and I decided to put some under the plastic because I didn't think it was going to hold very well. I mean, basically after 5 minutes holding it firm enough, you can carry on assembling the rest of the car, and give it like a day or so before you actually give it a good poke. Okay, so we're now putting the base plate on the car, and we'll use our little screws to hold it on. And if ever it needs to be removed again in the future, it can just be unscrewed and away we go. Right, so I think we all know how screws go on, so shall we move on to the turntable? Okay, I think that's a bit of an improvement on what it looked like at the beginning. Obviously this is a custom paint job, but I'm fairly pleased with it, and hopefully you guys like it too. Okay, so if you like what you've seen, please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And of course, Merry Christmas guys. See you then. Bye.